I've realized that I want more from life than this quiet routine. I need excitement.
I used to think I was honest with myself. I told myself I deserved more excitement, more passion than what my marriage offered. My husband Daniel was steady and patient, but I saw his predictability as stagnation. When a coworker started giving me attention, it was intoxicating. I felt seen in a way I hadn't in years. It started small messages during lunch breaks, then private jokes and late-night talks. I knew I was crossing a line, but instead of pulling back, I dove deeper. I spun a lie that love could expand, that I could have both. That lie became my shield. One evening, I made a decision that still makes my stomach turn. I invited my affair partner to our home. I convinced myself that this brutal form of honesty would somehow soften the betrayal. Daniel was in the kitchen when we arrived. He smiled, thinking I'd brought a friend over. I asked him to sit down, that we needed to talk. My hands were trembling, but my voice was eerily calm as I told him I was seeing someone else. I even had the audacity to say I loved them both and asked him to understand. The silence that followed was crushing. Daniel didn't shout or cry. He just stared at me, his eyes searching a face he no longer recognized. When my affair partner tried to explain, it only made things worse. Daniel stood up, his voice filled with a quiet authority I'd never heard before, and asked him to leave. Once the door closed, the house felt empty in a way I'd never experienced. He asked how long it had been going on. For the first time, I told him the unvarnished truth. He just nodded, as if filing away the details of my betrayal. I asked if we could work through it, if we could go to counseling. He looked at me and said, "You already worked through it alone." That single sentence shattered me. He went upstairs and packed a bag without another word. I followed him, a torrent of apologies and pleas spilling from my lips. He simply said that apologies don't undo choices. That night I slept alone in our bed, the space beside me feeling like a vast, cold emptiness. The next morning, he was gone before I woke up. My desperate messages went unanswered. Friends started asking questions I couldn't dodge, and the man I had risked everything for? He disappeared the moment things got real. The excitement I had chased evaporated, leaving only a bitter aftertaste. Within weeks, Daniel filed for separation. When I brought up counseling again, he said, "Trust isn't something you negotiate after you've destroyed it." His calm, rational truth hurt more than any shouting match ever could. The house grew silent. Every room was a ghost of a memory, a reminder of the life I had so carelessly thrown away. I replayed that moment, the one where I thought my twisted version of honesty would save me. I learned that honesty without integrity is just cruelty. The divorce was quiet and devastating. Daniel never insulted me or raised his voice. His restraint was its own form of punishment. I lost friends, and my family struggled to look at me the same way. The guilt was suffocating, so I started therapy. I had to face the ugly truth of my own selfishness. I had confused a fleeting desire with self-discovery and freedom with entitlement. Months later, I ran into Daniel by chance. He looked lighter, healthier. We exchanged a few polite words like strangers who once knew each other. In that moment, I understood there was no going back. The finality of it was painful, but it was honest. I stopped telling myself stories where I was the victim and started owning what I did. I learned that true love requires humility, that excitement fades but consequences are permanent. I began to rebuild my life, not to erase the past, but to respect the lesson it taught me. I no longer ask for forgiveness. Instead, I focus on becoming someone worthy of trust again. Some mistakes don't lead to a neat redemption story. Some just end in clarity. This was mine. Thanks for listening. If you have a story of your own, I hope you find the strength to learn from it.